You're listening to the Profit Connections podcast. Entrepreneurs and franchise owners, you'll want to tune in. If you're looking to create a rock-solid business, sick of being stuck on the plateau, and ready to kick it up more than just a notch, you're in the right place. I'm your host, Sharon Galuzzo, and I believe in unleashing your full potential to create resilient, successful businesses that in turn make significant positive impacts in our world. Welcome to the Profit Connections podcast. Welcome to the Profit Connections podcast. In this episode, we have an international man of intrigue as our guest, and I'm really excited to talk to him about all of his experience, not just with international business, but how he can help you in your life and your business today. And we are going to have such a good time because he is full of energy, just like me. And Daniel, let me ask you, when the microphone's on, is that like you're on, right? I love it. I get all excited when you turn on the microphone.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So let me tell you about Daniel Kobryner. Did I say that right?
Yes, well done, Carol. I said really well done, not easy.
Nice. Daniel is a highly motivational life coach and speaker with a passion for helping and inspiring others to live the most purposeful and meaningful life possible. What a great mission. He has extensive previous experience for over 30 years in international business, development, and management. And he has lived in more than one country. He has not yet told us how many countries, but he did tell me that he speaks 6 languages. Welcome, Daniel, to the Profit Connections podcast.
Thank you so much, Sharon, for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you today.
This is awesome. Before we got on the call, Daniel has a picture behind him, which you can't quite see. It just looks like a beautiful snowy day, right? Behind him is actually the Matterhorn. And I had a Swiss exchange student my senior year of high school. She came over and lived with us for the entire year of my senior high school year. And then 2 years later, my family and I went to visit her family. And we stayed in Bern and we drove all over the place. My father got hold of a car and drove around Switzerland like he was born there. It was the most hysterical thing.
Beautiful. I mean, this is a wonderful country, Switzerland. It's so nice. The nature is absolutely magnificent.
So is this where you live now, Switzerland?
No, now I live in London.
Oh, okay.
I live in London, but you see, I grew up in the mountains called the Vosges. It's in the east of France, and it's very close to Germany and Switzerland. So I've been a lot, to Switzerland. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
And I'm French, yes.
So tell us a little bit about your story. Like, why do you do what you do, and how did you get from where you were to where you are now?
Well, thank you for asking. You see, all my career was in international sales. Yeah, I like people. I like, connections. I like languages. I like cultures. So this was really nice. I developed new markets in different countries, and it was, and I really love the connections with my, clients, and, to build trust and to have this long-term relationship based on respect as well. And afterwards, I realized, a few years ago, I started doing some personal development. It was during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And, it was online, and, and I listened to some coaches talking, and this appealed to me. I thought, wow. And I realized that even without putting a name on that, I had done a lot of coaching all over in my life.
Yeah.
So, and the idea that to help people transforming their lives, people who are stuck in personal relationships, in professional, areas, and to help them, getting back confidence in themselves and really, getting to a life which is more fulfilling. This became very rapidly a calling, because I thought I'm going to do something which is like above myself.
That is really beautiful. I like that a lot. Yeah. So what about sales and what you were doing actually led you to this opening to do the personal development and to actually explore this part of your life?
See, I I realized, when I was, for example, I ran two companies, and I always wanted people to give to get the best out of themselves, for them, so I realized that I had a style. Now it could be called, participative management. What does it mean? It means really asking every individual in charge of the area for really, what would be the best? Because I always go from the idea the people know best, they are them. And then when you give people the opportunity to express themselves without fear, without fear of being criticized or judged, and really just when you encourage them, this is when they can give the best out of themselves. So and now afterwards, I realized that this is like a coaching spirit. People talk sometimes about, emotional intelligence. I didn't even know this word like a few years back. I didn't know it, but I realized what it meant. It's about, listening to people, having empathy and really, wanting to help people, without an expectation. It's really, you do it because you love doing it.
Real, I love, yeah, that is really interesting. And while you were talking, I was actually thinking about how what you're doing and what you have experienced actually can port over to be relevant to sales, like listening to people. Talk a little bit about, because you're such a sales professional, and I do want to touch a little bit on business, like what kind of advice can you give on sales? What insights is the word that I'm looking for. What insights do you have that can help my listeners, business owners today, even if they're in small businesses? How can you give them a little bit of insight?
Well, with pleasure. You see, one of the first, perhaps most important point for salespeople is not to talk, it's to listen. It's about, it's being genuinely interested in your customers, not expecting something from them, but really listening to them. What is the issue? What do they want to solve? Where do they struggle? And in this respect, we should put ourselves as salespeople on the side. It's not about us, it's about our clients, our customers. And when we do that, and when we see that we really want to understand what they need, then, they feel heard, they feel understood. And then afterwards, we might have some solutions for them and we might not. And if we don't, it's fine as well. The idea is that, after listening to them, then we can engage in a conversation. And when we do that, they will know that we are really interested in them, in helping them. So first thing, really listening. And I learned as well, I used to talk more and I learned, I learned as well to be more, receptive and without thinking of what I was going to reply.
Right. Oh, that is a really important one. And the other thing that I was thinking as you were talking is how many people, like when they come to the sales, to making the offer, are about, I need to make a sale. And can you talk about coming from that place of, I have to sell you something, I need to make a sale? Can you talk about coming from that perspective and how can we turn that around to actually being something that's really effective?
Absolutely. You see, I've got this motto, which I guess is quite common, is, I'd like to treat people, the way the way I'm treated. I don't know if it's the other way around, It's just that, when I see a pushy salesperson in a shop, I just, it doesn't appeal to me, I just like, because we have to come from a place of abundance, not from a place of lack. And this is where you can see the relation with the coaching is very similar. It's really about understanding that, your customers, for whatever reason, sometimes there might be a no. Mm-hmm. And not just to be upset and to take things personally, they don't want to buy from me. No, sometimes it's not the right product. It's not the right time. They might have, a genuine, for instance, financial issue. So sometimes really take a step back and listen. And when we do that, it becomes much easier.
Yeah. And that reminds me of when I had a bit of business with my husband that we ran, and he would get very upset when he would work with a client or, to potentially build up an offer for them. And then they would say no. And he would be like, I lost that client. And I would say to him, we didn't lose that client. We will get all the clients we're supposed to. The clients that are supposed to work with us are going to come to us. And helping get out of that, the lack of abundance, the scarcity that I lost it. No, it wasn't a right fit. All the right fit clients are going to come in and they're going to do business with us. And coming from that spirit and that energy and that thought process really opens you up to being the servant, to hearing what they have to say and finding out what their needs are and if there's a fit.
Absolutely. You said it so beautifully, Sharon. It's exactly that. And even what I would add to that is even this customer, which, perhaps it was not the right moment. You see, again, sometimes it's like right now, not, but later on, because of whatever circumstances, we don't always know everything. But, it just when we know we have served the best we can, we have really provided value and, an offer. I know it's a lot of work and I've done a lot of offers where I didn't get the results and I understand. But when you learn that, okay, we do our best, but we cannot control the other part. And again, we don't know. And a very important principle, which is as well valid for coaching, is never assume. Sometimes you think, I don't know, I must have done something wrong, so he doesn't buy from me. No, it's got nothing to do with us. They've got their reasons. Sometimes we don't know that. And if we don't, it's fine. We just have to accept, to let go. And when we let go, we leave space for the next opportunity, as you said, for some other people who then will be interested.
Yeah. And the other thing we need to know is, or we need to take into consideration, is not prejudging the customer before the transaction is done, because we used to have customers who would drive up in expensive cars and haggle over a $20 thing. And then we would have customers that came in with socks and sandals and looking however and spend thousands of dollars. So you cannot judge based on anything. You need to leave that space open, as you say, because it might not be a no forever. It might be a no for right now. So yes, I really like that perspective.
Thank you. And when you speak about judgment, this is such an important fact that as human beings, we should never judge. We should not. Actually, why we judge people? Because we judge ourselves. Mm-hmm. Everything comes from ourselves. So if we judge ourselves, if we speak negatively, to ourselves, if we don't accept ourselves the way we are, we cannot accept other people, because our relation to others, it's a mere reflections of who we are. And this is valid for life, and this is valid for business and for everything. When we realize that, as soon as we are appeased and, it's fine. We are not perfect, for instance. You see, perfection doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I used to be a perfectionist, Sharon, so I can talk about this. I used to be an overthinker. You know what? I realized that I wasted a lot of energy and time in my life for no good reason. So now I learned to let go, I'm doing everything I can. And afterwards, this is it. I'm not going to overdo it. Because you see, I really believe, and this is valid for entrepreneurs as well. We are brought up in a society where we are learned to really just think with our brain. It's everything,
Absolutely.
And you know what? we should remember that, to follow our intuition and to follow our heart. And when we do that, things starts being so much easier in life.
Yeah. But talk a little bit about intuition. Like, what do you mean by intuition? This is sort of can be like a jargony kind of word. So
Yeah,
tell my listeners, what is intuition and how do they know it? And do they actually have it?
See, Sharon, we all have it. There's this oldest part of our brain. It's called the reptilian part of the brain. And, it was there. It was created to protect us. It's for the survival mode. And with this, it's about the five senses, we've got five senses, the eye, touching, hearing, etc. So, and we've got the so-called sixth sense, and some people in India, they would call it the third eye, and it's, and what is it? It's something in us which kind of amalgamates all the other senses and basically gives us a feeling, is it something we should do? Is it something we should not? And we all have that. You can call it your little voice. And I'm going to ask you a question, Sharon, if I may.
Of course.
Has it ever happened to you that, for instance, it could be with a person or a situation, you had a feeling somewhere that something was not completely right, but still, it was overridden by the brain and you decided, oh no, okay, this person is fine, or this situation is fine. You just go ahead. And afterwards, you realize that something is not right. And you knew that you had felt it. So I can
100%. 100%. That has happened to me. I can think of a very specific thing. I met someone and I had this idea and I was like, oh no, that's not right. And a couple months later, boom, it was 100% right. So yes, it is a real thing. Like people have oh, did you ever watch the TV show NCIS? They would talk about Gibbs is one of the characters. They talk about his gut. Like he always knew stuff and they just referred to it as his gut. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's guts, you see. And, it happened to me several times. And now I know that if even the reason would tell me, yes, do this, but if I feel something which says no, then I will listen to my inner self. I will listen to my body and I will say, no, you see, and we learn, again, it's about learning. It's about trusting ourselves, trusting our intuition. Intuition doesn't fail us. It can't fail us.
I think that, in terms of business owners, so overwhelmed, so working, doing so many things, wearing so many hats, many moving pieces. It's really sometimes hard to hear the intuition through all the noise. Do you have any advice on building that up?
Yeah. Again, what I would say is that, and I used to be that, I used to overwork, for instance, and I give you an example. I was in sales. Imagine I was making a promotion and I had already 70% of the customers bought. Okay, it's great. You know what? But I wanted to go to the 80, to the 90. And all this extra work costed me a lot of energy, a lot, and very often for nearly no results. So I realized now and again afterwards that it would have better to stop, to say, okay, I've got what I had. It's nice. Then I move to something else because the other extra effort, they didn't bring me the results on the other side. So, and even with some, I had this intuition. I said, oh, okay, I'm not sure about this person, but I tried. So the thing is sometimes we have to stop. You know what? We do things, we do the best. But the other advice with this is that let's not forget that life is going very quickly. And we only have one life. So I wish I had perhaps sometimes spend more time with my family. I say it, again, but So what I would advise, entrepreneurs here, just that, yes, it's great to build a business and, it's beautiful, but let's not forget that it's not just about this in life. It's about the relationships. It's about the wife. It's about looking after your children. It's about taking time and finding some balance as well, because this balance is so important in life.
Oh, what a beautiful message to end on. Thank you so much, Daniel. That was perfect. There are, your business isn't the end all be all. You have things outside of your business, and we do need to build up that part of us that reconnects with why we started our business and the mission that we have in our life, and connecting to other people, because this podcast is called Profit Connections. Connections. We are all connected. Every single one of us is connected to every other single one of us. And we, no man is an island, right? We are a community. And so, you just said it so beautifully, Daniel. And I just love that you put that bow on top of our conversation today. Thank you so much for being here. It has been very enlightening. And what we will do is we will put Daniel's contact information into the Profit Connectors Club. That is our little hub where you can get all of the information and about our speakers and any information about our podcasts. And we'll have his info in there. And if you want to reach out to him and connect, that would be fabulous. Thank you again, Daniel. Do you have any parting words for us?
No, well, you know what? It was a pleasure. Thank you for having me. And you see, if listeners here can just get some little things out of that, and you see, I would be very happy. Again, it's not about me. It's about sometimes people realizing, that, it's just putting a little seed in the brains and thinking, just be careful, particularly if you are young. You know what? Life goes quickly, and enjoy it. Enjoy every moment of that. Don't forget that, because, when time is gone, if people wait until retirement, they might have all the money in the world, but, the health is not there. And, there are some other things, and, the relationship so we've got to be very careful.
Yes, I love that. Thank you again, Daniel. And thank you everyone for listening. And we are out. Hey, Profit Connectors, that's it for another Profit Connections podcast. If you're ready to make moves and connections that take your business to the next level and get your gifts and resources, head over to the website profitconnectors.club. That's profitconnectors.club, and get your goodies right now.